Mm, 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 mm. La 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 la. Oh, what's going on there? Hello, everyone. It's Imran Web Squadron. Caught me off guard there. I literally forgot I hit live. I hit the live button and I started humming to myself. Um, this morning has been what I call a bad morning because I've hardly got as much done as what I'd intended. I've found myself like looking at other stuff that I didn't really need to put my attention into. So far this morning has been what I call a loss, a bad loss of a day. The reason I've been distracted is because my son Raheem came and had a word with me, or he mentioned kind of in passing that he's a little bit dismayed because his YouTube channel isn't growing. And I had to remind him, because you're not putting out any content. The last content you put out was about, I don't know, 2 to 3 months ago. You can't expect to grow if you don't keep putting stuff out there. And you've also got to find your niche. And he's kind of struggling with ideas. And I've said, you've got to find what you want to do. If you want to grow your channel, you've got to do it. And you might say he's only 8 years old. It's because there's other kids in his class who are doing really well. Some of them are doing well, I feel like, just because people are viewing it or whatever, and I don't think they're that in. I don't think there's much to their videos. That's just my honest opinion. But he's a little bit dismayed. So I've told him, look, you got to find your niche. So last night, hey Michael, Maddie, friendly girl. So late last night for about 2 hours, and a bulk of this morning, I've been sat there trying to think of ideas for him. What can he do? How can I help him? How can I help him but minimize the amount of editing that I'm going to have to do? So, obviously, YouTube shorts that you do with your phone just held up like that. But he's got to come up with the ideas. There's no point me telling him, do this and do that if your heart's not in it. It's got to look natural, not forced or pre rehearsed too much. But it was just he wants his channel to grow, and I'm like, mate, you got to do stuff. I hope you like the elemental tutorial video I put out. Hey Anamine. It was just a simple one-page tutorial, and I was trying to be a little bit different with the hero banner, where you got your image and the text, rather than it being left aligned or in the center, it was right aligned. So it feels like it's closer to the image as a right align, and then the text just goes like that. And I felt it was a pretty nice little bit of an effect. And I finally finished editing my other tutorial, which was 3.5 hours long when I recorded it. I've edited it down to about 40. I've forgotten now what it was. I can't remember if it was 47 or 48 minutes. Anyway, edited down. That one is coming out on Monday. And that video, I think, is, for me, very different in the way you do your hero banner. Like, there's no animation. There's nothing you couldn't replicate. There's nothing you couldn't use on maybe for your blog post, for your shop page, in loads of areas. And just to give you a clue, it's when you see the homepage I've built next Monday, the focus, or the way I'm drawing your attention, is big headline, but not too big. So big headline, and the images are like the tertiary item on the page. The primary thing is the primary thing is the cleanness, the amount of white space, loads of white space. The secondary thing is the headline. The third thing is the call to action. And the fourth thing is the image. So I'm flipping it around. You know, we put so much onus on images, but what if your images are like, the quality's not great, but you can get away with, like, say, 300 pixels high, maybe, or 600 pixels in width. That's it. You go bigger than that, and it starts to look blurred and pixelated, and the quality's not there. You might have got a mid-journey image, or someone took a photo on their camera or phone or whatever, and if you blow it up to be a full width, or even just like 1000 pixels wide, you can see the noise, the specs. It just doesn't feel polished. So next Monday's tutorial, which I hope you like, is really, really, really focusing on the impact headline, the call to action, the white space, glorious white space. I love how I've really and it wasn't even by accident, because as I built it, I actually drew it all out here. I drew it all out. There was my, let me get it right. Let me just angle it a little bit. There we go. There's my plan. And that's giving you a bit of a flavor for what the layout, this is not zooming in very well, but that's a bit of the layout. So it's really like getting you to, make the most of your white space, but respect the white space, and don't overly worry about if your images are like small quality, because you can make the images really jump off the page, even when they are like that on the page, right? Big page, and there's your image. Because the image is complemented by the text. So when you put like big impact words, good call to actions, good corresponding text next door as well, that little image all of a sudden feels like that, because it was like that. You could have a really big image, and if you just have like generic boring text, hi, this is what I do, and blah 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 blah, really boring, it's not really, it just feels standard. All of a sudden that really big image loses power and influence. But when you make your words like not dramatic, but you really make them bring out the point of the website or the services, that small image is now 10 times more powerful. It now feels like Jurassic Park. With the first time you saw Jurassic Park on the cinema screen, do you remember that? 1993. Hey, you're in the cinema. How old was I? In 1993, I was 14, I think, at the time. Was I 14? I was either 4. Yeah, I was about to be 15. So I was 14, about to be 15. First time, 1993, Jurassic Park, right? You sat there in the cinema, and the brachiosaurus or brontosauruses or whatever you want to call them walk across the screen. Like, did your heart stop or not? Were you not like, and I remember in the cinema, it was like, there were some people were like, you could hear like the, whoa, like that deep inhalation, like, like, wow, brilliant. Anyway, Maddie, how many notebooks with drawings you have hanging around in your home? Just this one. Just this one. I've been using this one a while. I mean, I tear the pages out, right? I tear them out and get rid of them. But sometimes I like to just scrap away. I've been meaning to get a digital notebook, but I'm still umming and ahhing about the Remarkable 2 or the Kindle Scribe. I need to find someone that's got the Remarkable 2 or the Kindle Scribe. I need to actually play with it just to get an understanding of what I like. Hey, by the way, Wesley, hope you're okay. Friendly Girl has never seen any of the Jurassic Park movies. This is interesting. Why not? Maybe it's not your thing. I mean, it is dinosaurs. Can dinosaurs be a thing? I suppose it would be, right? But yeah, you should have go and watch the first one. You'll like it. Hey, Dave, how you doing? And you're right, Dave, about thanks for pointing out about the web accessibility. Sometimes when I'm doing those tutorials, I get carried away with a particular style that I'm going for. Friendly Girl, can I tell you something, right? I have gone to so many movies on my own, right? Let me start reeling them off. What's the first movie I went? In fact, Star Wars 2, Attack of the Clones. I went on my own. The X-Men. The first X-Men with Bryan Singer, when we first had Wolverine. When was that? 2001, I think. 2001. I watched that on my own. Jurassic Park, The Lost World. I watched that on my own. Godzilla 1997. I watched that on my own. I could run through so many movies I've gone and watched on my own because no one wanted to go. So I would say, don't worry about it. I've done it many times. What was the other ones? Oh God, there's been quite a few that I've gone and watched. You know, if you really want to watch something, you just go and do it. Dave has not watched Jurassic Park either. Dave, I'm going to block you now. I would have let Friendly Girl go. I would have gone, you know what? Okay, fine. But Dave, you've got no excuse. I mean, then again, though, Dave, it does. I mean, how old are you, Dave? How old are you? Because I do think it's a generational thing. Because for anyone who's near to my age, we were like in the teenage years, and there would have been some a bit younger and some a bit older when the first Jurassic Park came out. So it was like a big thing, right? It was a really big thing, like, whoa, dinosaurs. For a lot of, yeah, it might be a generational thing. I don't know. Shaquille Imran is a man of culture, calling some good movies there, my brother. Do you know what I mean? Tron Legacy. I went to go and watch that on my own. What else have I watched on my own? There's quite a lot, you know. There's quite a lot of movies. I just go, right, I want to watch it. Does anyone want to come? No, fine. I'll just go watch it myself. So I'm like a boring person. Dave, 29. Well, that might be it then, Dave, right? That might be it. Because if you think about the point when you were, say, 10 years old, right? And we go back to, if we knock off 19 years, that would have been 2003. So for you, Dave, the movies that really would have touched you, I think, would have been like the Spider-Man movies. Yeah, Spider-Man movies, stuff like that, I think. Maybe, Fast and Furious. Zaki's not watched any. Yeah, again, Zaki, how old are you? So I think it's a generational thing. I really do. I really, really do. Hey, Artif, you're near my age. You've seen the Jurassic Park movies, haven't you? You remember when the first Jurassic Park came out? Come on, Artif, you've got to agree with me on here. Michael can get a senior citizens discount at the movies. That I kinda do believe you would. By the way, if anyone wants to join the live chat, they can do. And Artif, I watched a replay. I was busy doing editing yesterday, and this morning, while I was doing my run, I watched a replay, and I actually, because I was only going to be running for about 50 minutes, I watched the last 50 minutes of Paul's live chat. So I saw a little bit, and then your bit came in. And yes, you very much were the Michael Aspel interviewer in there with your questions. But it's all interesting, right? It's kind of the stuff that, I've shared as well, and Paul has shared before as well, about our lives and how we're normal people at the end of the day. We have so much going on and things like that. Artif, I'm much younger. Jurassic, get out of it, Artif. Artif, such a liar. Naeem, hello, how are you? Go on, ask your question. What is it? What is your question? Where were you, Artif? It did look like a show home. The door. Where were you in? And were you working at someone's home? Did they even know you were there? By the way, I've been looking at Video Leap last night and this morning. I've been playing around with Video Leap. It's like a video generation bit of software, and I'm going to have to pay for it because Raheem got a little bit upset because loads of his friends have now started YouTube channels, and they're doing better than him. And he's had his channel for about 3 years, and he's going, why have I stagnated? He didn't use those words, but why is he stagnated? And I literally said to him, they're posting every other day. You don't post. You don't post. The same goes with anyone who's got a YouTube channel or anything, even social media marketing. It's a bit like Ellie WebDev. I don't know I don't know what she's up to now. She seems to have dropped off, But this is where you drop off and your followers or people that want to watch you drops off. Look at Andrea Egley. I always get her surname wrong. If I said your surname wrong, Andrea, really sorry. Up until about, say, I don't know, 7-8 months ago, maybe earlier this year, in fact, She was at around about 1,000 subs, or just about. She's now at 4 and a bit, or 5 now, 4 and something. Why has she grown? Why has Andrea grown? Because she joined one of our live chats and I did exchange messages with her afterwards. And I said to her, you got to keep doing. Even if you only do one video a week, you got to do one video a week. If you know you're going to be on holiday next week, do 2 videos this week and then schedule it. Release this week, release next week, right? Keep doing it. Keep being out there. Focus on a subject matter you know you can really knock out the park. So Paul, for a long time, was really focusing on the dynamic stuff. Andrea really pulls out the stops with like GSAP and motion effects and stuff. She does loads of other things too, but she really explores the GSAP. So she's found a bit of a niche area here. You start searching for GSAP or whatever, Elementor or WordPress, you are very, very likely to find one of her videos, right? Why not? So she's growing, and that's what you do. It's like Dave. I've said to Dave, he's really good at his grid stuff. Go on, Dave, smash out the CSS Grid videos. Keep doing it. Keep doing what you know you can rock out. Yeah, exactly, Dave. And that's what I mean. You know, like, if you don't, friendly girl, you don't have to say that. You can just disappear and come back anytime. You don't have to say anything. We're not watching you, okay? So don't you worry. If anyone wants to join the live chat, please feel free to do that. You may get kicked out if I feel like we're not talking much, but if you want to join in and have a go, you can. But yeah, Dave, you know, I'm not sure. I mean, I would say though, Ellie Web Dev, even though she did do videos, you still got to focus on a certain aspect of it. You know, the way you train or teach, you've got to be putting out tutorials that people are going to take an interest in. Otherwise, why would they invest their time in following you? Game Dragon, where is your origin? Well, I was born in the UK, so my origin is UK. Where my parents are from, nah, it's negligible. I have no intention of visiting. Seriously, I am a little bit like, I'm quite happy where I am, kind of thing. But yeah, what was I going to say? What was I talking about? Yeah, so anyway, Raheem, you know, that's taken up a lot of my time. But in a way, I feel like I had to take a break from WordPress last night and this morning because the video I recorded on Monday, 3.5 hours, then I had to jump into doing some proposals and stuff and talking to a client. Then I had to have a one-to-one with a client over some a meeting we had. Then yesterday was a whole load of editing and a few other stuff here and there. And I felt a little bit burned out on WordPress. I was like, ugh. You know, when you're editing and you're listening to yourself and you're watching yourself, you get a bit like, I don't want to see this guy's face again. It's my face, but I don't want to see his face again. So I just was like, I'm just going to look up some other stuff. But this afternoon, I'll be back onto planning out the rest of this week because I've got another client. I just need to run through some stuff with them. And I want to do 4 or 5 extra videos just to get them scheduled in. Yeah, I mean, Dave, and again, we're not picking faults here, by the way, with anyone. So this is my advice to anyone who's planning to do videos, right? If your channel is about Elementor, you need to be putting out videos on how to build with Elementor or how to do something, or you nicheify within Elementor, like Paul did a lot of dynamic stuff. What you don't do is just do a video to say, here's the latest update. And then there's a gap until the next update. And then there's a gap until the next update. That's not really like helping me, right? I want to learn. I want to engage. So the video I put out today, which is how to build a one-page website, it's just giving you another way of building a one-page website. Monday, there's another video, another way of doing a one-page website. I'm really proud of that video. I can tell you now, I am so stoked for that video coming out on Monday. The way the ease with how it was built and how it looks on the mobile responsively, it's beautiful. Really lovely. Michael was going to do a video on procrastination. I just haven't got around to it. Well, do you know what, mate? It's probably the most perfect video the way you're doing it right now. Alan, hey, George, how are you? Oh, yeah, by the way, Chuck T, I don't think I said hello to you. Hope you're all right. Alistair, recently been using CSS. Oh, by the way, George, I believe on Harry Potter Legacy, there's like a Christmas update. Is there a Christmas update? I think. So the halls and, the outside Hogwarts is all going to be snowy and Christmas trees and everything. Or did I, or I might have heard that wrong. Hi, Burgett. But I'm pretty sure I saw an advert somewhere for that. Alistair, recently been using CSS Grid and the Visualize add-on. Excellent. Brilliant. I mean, that is, hats off to Mark Harris. We're not going to lie. We're very honest that a lot of these code snippets, they're done with ChatGPT. But then it's the way that, we or him or whoever, we go in and tweak the prompts and add further prompts, and we edit the code to work a certain way. And then we tweak it a bit more so that when it is added onto WordPress with the interface, it looks, it's got to look nice, right? But yeah. And I would say it's absolutely fine. Look, Flexbox Container was okay for ages before it moved into stable. CSS Grid is fine, in my opinion. I can't see any issues with it. Really can't. It's a great way to do some funky layouts, especially if you want to make things easier on yourself when you go from desktop, tablet to mobile, especially with the way, the grids all work and, and all of that. It makes it easier. It does mean, though, that there are some limitations with how you design things. You got to be careful. Especially with the spans and all of that. You got to make sure you understand what you're doing. However, when you do switch from desktop to mobile, you go from 4 grid to 2 grid or 1 grid or 2 or 3 or whatever. It's quite magical, but you do have to be mindful. You really do have to be mindful that what looked really good here, 1, 2, 3, 4, when you now split it to be 1, 2, 3, 4, like 2 by 2, that looks great, but that, like that 2 by 2, does not look so great. It's like Instagram. People sometimes put out like a sequence of images. So on the Instagram grid, you get like almost like a combined image, like a Constructicon from Transformers, or the sum of all parts. But then the minute you add in another post and now this one here shifts to there, that like continuity of the images breaks. So you got to think not just of like, wow, this looks really good on the big screen. Start thinking ahead to what's it going to look like on the smaller screen as well. Hello, John. Sorry, mate. I just noticed your name. Richard. Sorry, Richard. It's a bit late to answer your question. How do you decide what to make a custom post type with a field group? Well. Okay, look, the best way to think of it is, are they going to have individual filters, right? So are you going to have like, is the focus of the website hotel, right? And then you're going to have a filter on there or a taxonomy or a category for location or region, right? It's then thinking about bi-directional relationships as well. With ACF, I think ACF, you have to put in a bit of code. Or did they build it in? Ooh, hold on. No, I think you've got to put in a bit of code because they give you a bit of code to do. So that you might have like a custom post type for a location, hotel, rooms or whatever. So it very much comes down to, when you look at it as a user, what are they going to be filtering on and what is the relationship? I did not explain that very well. I'm sorry, George, not had time to play yet at the moment. Elementor won't change much with the grid container. They might add grid child. Do you know what? the CSS Grid feature is not polished because you've got to pop in code to do the span. That should be built in, right? You know, when you have it, they should have all of that span feature there. So there's still a bit of work that needs to be done with it. But you could say that about loads of widgets, to be honest. Even with bricks, you still have to pop in code sometimes to do stuff. You know, loads of people will go, oh, yeah, you can do that in bricks. And I always sort of go, no, you can't. You still got to pop in code. So, right? Yeah, do you like it, John? Look, we got a bit of a boat. Look. Quite nice, that, isn't it? It's quite nice, that. Just drifting away across the screen. Hey, Mel from Atlantic City. How you doing? Cheers, mate. Thank you for saying it looks great. I've started to realise that when I'm viewing myself on the live chat, when I have the screens off, it starts to look really dead and empty. Doesn't really look as inviting as when I do have the lights on. Otherwise, it just feels like, oh, you've just come in and turned your machine on. And just for the sake of it, I've gone and popped on this slightly different background just because, I don't know. I just wanted to have something a little bit different, really. That's all. I think I just cracked my neck as I turned then. Let's just go down to check the question. Hey, Sinan, how are you doing? So I look. Oh, sorry. I think I shouted into the microphone then. Sometimes I forget that I'm so close to the microphone that I go like that. So I'm sorry if my voice shouts across. You're going to see a load more Elementor videos coming out because I'm starting to feel like a lot of the smaller videos, which are like 1 or 2 minutes long, they're great, but it's always better when it's done in context of a page. So I'm finding a lot of inspiration. I'm going on to Dribble. You look up landing pages on Dribble, which you can look at for free. And I just scan down. And when I see a couple of designs, I go, oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. And then I just take a screenshot of the design. And then in my mind, I kind of go, right, okay, what could I do a little different? And I recreate it inside Elementor or WordPress. They are just screenshots. So it's not like it's a template. And then you import it and you rearrange. No, this is like, there's an image. I quite like that layout. Oh, I didn't think of that. What can we do here? And then I'll formulate an idea in my head. Okay, let's take that layout, but let's focus on a nature environmentalist environment person who likes to live in a tent in the countryside. You go and get your images. You jump onto ChatGPT. You spend 5 minutes. You say, give me a headline about nature and the environment. Now give me 5 call to actions so that you've got a range. Now give me subheadings and a description about nature environment. And it does that. Now tell me about Mickey Anderson. You make up a name and it gives you an about bit. Now tell me about 5 services that they offer that you could be part of so that you could be part of a nature environment. It gives you all of that as well. Now give me actually, no, that's about it, actually. So 5 minutes later, well, actually, I lie. It's more like half an hour because you get your images. That always takes longer. Then you get your ChatGPT text bit. And then you go and draw out your design of how you're going to lay it out. Dun, 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 dun. By the way, these numbers over here, they are the number of sections. And then over there, I decide, is there going to be like one container or will there be child containers in there as well? Just to devise what I'm doing. And I love it. I love it when you just start building out and it comes together. The bit I don't like is when I'm building and recording and talking. Right? Because when you're building, you go, oh, no, oh, no, that's the wrong size. You change the size. Oh, we'll move that there. I'll do that. I'll add this in. I'll take that out. You just do it, right? Oh, we'll go to font size 50. Now I'll go to 40. You just do it. But when you're recording and editing, not editing, when you're recording, you have to justify what you're doing. So we're going to go for 46 pixels. And we're then going to change it to 24 for the month. You've got to explain everything. It's like you're spoon feeding, but in a good way. And that can be really frustrating, because there was many times when I did that recording on Monday where I was explaining something and I must have gone over it about 20 times. Because every time I said it, it either sounded wrong or I've slipped over my words. So we're now going to, gosh, that again. We're now going to duplicate. No, that doesn't sound right. We're going to duplicate this to do, and I go, no, that doesn't sound. And you just you literally keep undoing what you've done on screen, because you've got to make sure that when you're talking, because your face is in the bottom there, the corner, relates to what you're doing on screen, right? And you go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that is frustrating. Whereas if you're not recording, you'd be like, you would just get on with it. So that is the drawback. That's why the 47-minute video that comes out on Monday was 3 hours and 25 minutes. It's written down here. Look. Here, look, it's written down here. 3 hours and 25 minutes, right? And eventually I got it down to 47. That just shows how much there was on the cutting. And it's not like during that video I got up and had a break. There are moments, like for maybe 30 seconds or a minute, where I get up to just go get another drink or whatever. But that's it. It was full on recording. That's a heck of a lot of stuff on the floor. And I started recording from 9 in the morning. And obviously I finished around about 12:30. That's my entire morning gone for the sake of a 47-minute video. What are you all up to this week? Now, a lot of you very nicely shared on Friday how you're doing good stuff and you're having a good week, but it is now Wednesday. What are you all up to? Are you continuing the good vibe? Have you got more clients that you're working with? Is anyone having a bit of a bad time with a client though? Like, does anyone want to fess up to not a great relationship? I don't know, things aren't going so swell or sweet with a client, you know? I don't want to know because I want to laugh. I mean, I could laugh, but I'm not going to laugh. But it's more about, can we help you in any way? Dave says that when recording, I know what I want to show, but I keep tripping over my words. It's annoying, isn't it, Dave? It's really annoying. You say it and you stumble. Or you say it and you know you've done it wrong and you go, can I get away with it? No, I've got to say it again. And do that bit and that action on the screen again, you know? Or you build it, and as you're building it, you go, why did I use a child container? I've made it more complex for myself. I've got to redo all of that again. And you'll get it done quicker because you now know what you're doing exactly. But it's the frustration, right? Sinan is having fun with blocks, making a 3D web game with Spline. He says the agency work is a bit dry. Now, Sinan, normally you always say that you've got regular work coming in. So what do you think is the reason there? Do you feel like, is it the time of year? Last year, December was major busy. This year, busy, but not as busy as last year. Last year was like, website. This year, quieter, but do you think it's the time of year that's affected things? Hey, Eddie, how you doing? Zaki's got a couple of clients, but I need to build my creative skills. Look, you got to do that, Zaki. You got to keep experimenting, right? You got to, whenever you have free time, don't just sit there, just go, I'm just going to put the TV on or whatever. Nothing wrong with that. But start using more time to better yourself, learning. Record all the sounds coming from, mate, do you know what? I love it when I have the house to myself. I really do. I get more stressed out when I know my wife is home or Raheem is home because they do not understand how not to make noise. My wife is worse than Raheem. Like, I sometimes have to go out there and say to her, did you have to put the dishwasher on now? Like, Couldn't it have waited until later on? Because she knows I'm recording. And I'm like, did you have to put that on now? And she normally goes, no, I didn't have to. And I go, let's do it later. Right, just going to scroll down the comments. Richard, how are you doing? Trying to explain to clients the cost of hosting. Hey, Kate, how are you? Not seen you for a while. Hope you're okay. So Richard is trying to explain to clients the cost of hosting. Do you know what? I have completely left the hosting provision now. I just don't like doing it at all. I really don't. It is a great model for recurring income, right? No lie about that. But I am completely like out of it with dealing with hosting issues, ensuring payment comes in, emails, all of that. I really don't really have time for that at all, because it takes me away from web design. Oh, TJ, I'm the one that's more likely to do the Hoover. Let me tell you now, I'm the clean freak, right? I'm the person who likes things to be tidy and clean and ordered. Believe me, I am. Raheem is awful at keeping things tidy. My wife is probably just as bad, and I think the reason he does not keep things tidy is because of her. It's her fault. I am the one that's like, we need to you should put this back over there. This should be over there. This should be there. You know, I'll do the Hoover. I'll clean. I am a bit of a clean freak. I like things to be orderly. When things are disordered, it unsettles me. So the thing I hate the most is when I come downstairs and in the morning, maybe or whatever, things are just laid out because Raheem or my wife, they haven't put things away. And I'm like, I just hate it. I like things to be just be ordered. Because I think that is something a little bit about like design as well, right? I like to know my images are there. I like to know my text is there. I like to know my invoices are paid there. I like to know what appointments I've got or emails I need to respond to. I like things to be really structured. And when things are not structured or something happens out of the ordinary, I can deal with it, but I feel a little bit like, why are they calling me now? Why has someone asked for something? Did they not know I was busy? Of course you deal with it. You know, that's life. But I'm very much of a structured kind of person. And a lot of it probably comes down to how I used to work where, yeah, you can say, to be honest though, Kate, to be honest, I was an analyst, right? With the NHS, analyst or analist, okay? But I am very, you know, I like things. It's like, you know, it's like I like my bills to be paid. I like to know that we don't leave plugs on for no good reason. Like in the kitchen, if you're not using the kettle, turn it off from the wall. If you're not using the cooker, turn off the plug for it. You don't need to have it on all the time. If you're not using the toaster, turn off the switch. You know, I always like things to be done a certain way, kind of thing. Cheers, Eddie. Don't forget to smash the like button. We're not doing very good on likes, but hey, yeah, exactly, Kate. Analyst. I was a really good analyst. I say that to people a lot. What do you do, says John Cyanide, is if your client doesn't know how to use Google? What? Oh, you mean, well, yeah, okay, yeah. Sorry, is the way I read that was your client doesn't know how to use Google. And I just stopped at that point to just go, what? No, but if it's to do with domain and hosting, yeah. I had someone who I had a meeting with them. They've not commissioned me for any work, but I said to them, look, out of the goodness of my heart, I'm going to do a quick 5-minute video very, very quickly. And then I sent it to them unedited. I basically just showed them that you go to WordPress, you go to post, You put in your title, you put in your content, you do your category, you do your featured image, you can do your excerpt if you want, but you must make sure you do the featured image and the category, right? And then you publish or whatever, okay? You do that just to make sure they understood what they were doing, and that's it. So if you've got someone who is struggling with that, I think really, really easily and quickly, you can say, look, you record a video, you go here, the link is, I'll send you the link, you click here, you add in your title, you get your hosting. You do not buy this, but you do buy this. And that's it, right? You don't edit it, you don't put any lovely special effects. You don't do any of that, iggle, pickle, wataka, and none of that, right? You just do that quick recording and send it, and that's perfectly fine. John, and then is Uranus. Jack, can anyone recommend a decent plugin developer? What do you want to develop? I mean, there's going to be people here that might say, hey, yeah, I can develop a plugin for you. But what kind of plugin are you thinking of developing? Have you tried ChatGPT? Is it that you just need someone to QA quality assure it, put the finishing touches on it? Is it someone who goes through the whole WordPress repository and, the checks and all of that and the sign off, and then you got to get approval and get it onto the WordPress repository? Is that what you want? So when you say you want a decent plugin developer, what are you trying to do there? I actually so I was actually going to mention Sinan's name because I know his team work with stuff. A theatre events plugin and a bespoke member plugin. Right. So is it that you want to create something bespoke, but you haven't got anything yet? So basically you need something built ground up. Have you tried other plugins like Modern Events by Webness, Event In? I'm not sure about the event calendar. Events calendar might actually do it. Yeah. Have you tried all of those? So when you say yes, Jack, I just said about 5 things there. Is that yes to building from scratch, or yes to you've already checked out all the other plugins out there? MotoPress, Jet Engine. You've tried MEC. Yeah, that's the modern events one. Have you tried Jet Engine? Have you tried, So then the second thing is, have you got a budget? By the way, I'm not gonna build anything for you, but have you got a budget? Because if you want a plugin developer that's going to develop something bespoke, is this just for you? Or is this for wider release and you're going to make an income of it? So is this just for you or for the public? What's your end game? I do feel though that there's so much other stuff out there that, event in, one word, the event calendar, Jet Engine booking. Have you tried that? There's loads of stuff you could do there as well. WebVision, what plugin do you suggest with the options for customers to leave a review, but would like to have it conditioned so 4 above redirect? I'm not sure. They can leave a review. No, I don't know. I mean, the only way you could do it the only way you could really do it is you can show the review, but you don't allow them the option to add on the website. And you say, if you want to leave a review, the button takes them to Google Review. But the chances of them completing are massively reduced, because the chances of them then going, okay, yeah, cool, I'll log into Google as well, I'll do your review, probably drop off. Not a great answer. Just checking down some of the comments. Budget, of course, it's his own project. Yeah, so what I would say, the thing is though, John, Modern Events does have a free version, but the free version is very limited. And if you really want to test out, the ticket pricing and all of that, you got to go for the paid version. But they do have a really good support network, and they have a live chat. And if you go to that with a question, they're pretty normally quick. I mean, when I say normally, sometimes it's the next day, but sometimes it's within half an hour they get back to you, kind of thing. Can I use a conditional logic form? Web Vision, I've not really looked at anything like that. I've not really looked at anything like that. I'm just trying to think about maybe, but I think that's going to have a bit of trial and error on that one. So what I would say back to Jack is, I would try and, hey, Andrew, how are you doing? I would say go and investigate more with what plugins are out there. Because if you ask someone to create something from scratch for you, I'm going to say you better make sure you've got about $10,000. I'm just going to put out a rough figure out there. Have you got $10,000 to pay someone to go and create your bespoke code stroke plugin for you, for your website? That's just for you. Can't be sold anywhere else unless you decide to package it and sell it. Have you got a budget for $10,000? By the way, I'm not doing it. I'm not getting involved, but I'm putting it out there. I mean, like Sinan says, events manager. There you go. That's the one. Yeah. There's the events calendar, events manager, eventing, jet engine, jet booking, MotoPress appointment booking. MotoPress appointment booking. I think that one would be good for you. I need to do a review of that one very soon. Hey, Pickstar. Sorry, I yawned then. So Jack says, I was hoping that my listing would do it, but can't do condition. Yeah, I mean, the thing is though, Jack, if you're willing to pay someone like $10,000 to go in and create bespoke code for you, because what they create for you might be so bespoke, you're going to have a maintenance program with them whenever there's an issue or something breaks. You can't blame the coder. When something's built bespoke, you have to understand that things will break, right? Because it's brand new. It's not gone through the 5-6 year testing model, the lifespan where people come and push it through its paces or find a bug that someone else didn't find. So you got to make sure you got the budget to handle that. Tara Kangas, how you doing? By the way, Pickstar, what are you doing? Why am I allowed to shout at you? I'm not going to shout at you, Pickstar. You're a good man. Yeah, Michael D's right. Eventing is... The thing is, I have a love-hate relationship with eventing. With eventing, it has a very particular look. And it's got some really neat features. It's just sometimes the presentation of eventing might be very different from the look of your going within the website. And that's what I always find with eventing. There's been several occasions where I've nearly used it, but the more I look into it, the more I'm like, nah, the look of it feels detached from the look of the website. And I'm not just talking about the colors. I'm talking about the way they do the layouts. It's, it feels a little bit like that. Okay, just checking some of the comments that are coming in. Don't forget to smash the like button, people. All right, the like button is really, really important. Sinan, events managers, great. Yeah, look, this is now the problem with loads of plugins. I really feel like the attention they put into their website with pricing and testimonials and the features, some of them are really brilliant, like really top notch, right? You look at them and go, amazing, you got me. Then when you get to the documentation, it's like the person who's done the documentation went, right, what can I say here? What can I say? Oh yeah, how do you do the settings? You install, you activate, and then you go through the wizard. And that's it. So you go through the wizard, there's like 30 other settings, and it says, pick the options that suit you the best. Well, what are the options? I don't understand what this option is. How does this affect that? And if I click this, what is the you give me 4 options. What are the 4 options? It's a bit like, in like some font plugins, even Elemental, you have non-swap, fallback, and there's another one for Google Fonts or fonts, right? The clarity with explaining them isn't always there, right? And that's the thing that gets me the most about loads of plugins. There's so many good plugins out there, but the documentation is either really long, like, or you've got to watch like 20 videos, and it gets on my nerves, which is why when I did the jet booking video, that jet booking video is about 20 minutes long-ish, because I'm covering what do you need to know and what do you need to do. All right, so we got this many rooms, you fill this in. You got this, let's do that as well. This is how you connect your payment. This is how it looks on the front end. Just cover off from A to B what I need to do, and that's going to help me out. Let's just double check some of the comments coming on. John says, is there any updated video for honeypot? No, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, really. For honeypots, you got to make sure you give them a proper title. You might need to use reCAPTCHA. It very much depends on what kind of spam you are getting. There you go. Richard says, cost for a custom plugin. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Ballpark. I said 10,000, but that's about right. 10,000, I would say, just to build it. If you're going to go with a maintenance plan, because you're going to have to maintain it, when WordPress updates, when Elemental updates, when WooCommerce updates, all of a sudden that custom code, there might be something that's deprecated, like a hook or something. You got to then get that tweaked. And you want to make sure you've got that reliability, because what if your coder goes, oh, sorry, I don't do coding now. Where's the backup for it? Where's the support structure for it? There's so much stuff you've got to do there. Justin, is there a way to shorten the WordPress password less than 12? You can change the password to be whatever you want. I mean, I bet you could put in a snippet, but I would say just change the password to be what you want. Right, we've been live now for 52 minutes. I'm actually going to stop in about 2 minutes now anyway. I feel like I've spoken a lot today, and I can literally feel just a little bit of croakiness, and I don't want to get a croaky voice, so I'm going to close off in a couple of minutes. And I also just want to get back onto doing stuff, mainly because I've spent so long this morning just looking at video editing software, but video editing with AI generated prompts to help my son. So I was looking at video editing, but it's not for me, it's for him. Even though I'm probably going to be the one that has to run it and look after everything for him for it. But I did want to say that I'm going to be closing off in 2 minutes. So anyone got any final questions for me or anyone else, please fire them off in the live chat right now. And if you haven't yet hit the like button, please do so, because it makes a massive, massive difference to the channel. Like, seriously, like, huge. The importance of your likes, I cannot say enough. Mia, how are you? Go on, what's your question, Mia? One question before you go. Hi, by the way. Mia doesn't talk like that, by the way, right? But let's pretend she does. She's right now sat there speaking to us. Sinan, ask the question. Go on. Fire the question. Go on. Let's see if we got time to fill it in. Cheers, Pickstar. Catch you later, my friend. Hey, John. Don't worry, mate. Look, it's an open invitation, but you don't have to be on. Okay, it's better when you're not. No, you don't have to be on. Michael says some security plugins assume you're a seasoned network security. Yeah, they do. They really do, right? I mean, WordFence. No. WP Rocket. WordFence. all-in-one security. All of these plugins, the documentation, like, why can't they, when you're in WordPress and you go to, say, WordFence, explain properly what this is and what this means? Like XML, right? I get it, but to some people, do you want to activate XML? Please be warned. Okay, it's told me the warning, but what is that? What does it mean? Do I activate? Do I deactivate? And that's, I really feel like they just don't explain things very well. Mia, can I add CSS to change the row height in bullet lists? Yes, you can, Mia. And you know what? Just right click and inspect it. And if line height, I can't remember if it's line height or something else, but yeah, you can do CSS. Go and use the Site Origin CSS plugin. You can get it for free. Go to your page. It will let you, as you tweak it, it writes the CSS for you. Get the CSS, uninstall the plugin. That would be my tip. Tippity tip. Sinan says block editor is so fast and optimized. It's much better than Elementor. To be honest, right? If you just use what you get with WordPress block editor, of course it's going to be faster. It's going to be faster than Bricks. It's going to be faster than Breakdown. So I wouldn't say it's faster than Elementor. I would say it's well, no, let me explain, right? If you want to use Elementor, of course it's not going to be as fast as just using standard WordPress. But I could easily turn around and say, if you built using front site editing and not WordPress, your site would be even faster. So I always say, yeah, no point comparing this to this to this, because I've seen websites with block editor that are really slow compared to a site with Elementor. Why? Because they had loads of stuff going on. So I always feel like it's chicken and egg kind of thing. It's like apple and pear, because I would say whatever tool you want to use. And here's something I've kind of said quite a lot. People need to stop saying, I use this instead of Elementor. It's a bit like, I don't say, I drink this instead of water. I've got an iPhone 15 instead of a Samsung. I've got a Microsoft mouse instead of an Apple mouse. There's no need for people to do that, because I always say that no one needs to know. But always use the tool you want to go with. That's what I say. Always find the tool that does what you want to do. There you go. Friendly Girl's gone and popped in a bit of code. I was wondering if it was the padding. I didn't want to say it because it's from memory. I couldn't be really sure. About how to do that. Right now, if you're trying to get in touch with one another on here, you can't post your emails or stuff like that because YouTube won't allow it. You got to go to the Facebook group, right? So you got to go over here and you can start to connect if you are part of the Facebook. Wrong email. Let me get the right email. There we go. There's the email. Not the email, the group. Go to the Facebook group, the Web Squadron Facebook group. A lot of people are in there. And you will then find and be able to connect and do stuff together in a good way. Right, I'm going to jump off now. We're coming up to 59 minutes. And I really need to get on with some stuff. Hey, it's been fun. I'm Imran Web Squadron. I hope you like, subscribe, share, and follow. I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye. I'm going now.